When you're playing a two-player risk game and you are second to move, you're at a disadvantage. And because you're at a disadvantage, one of the key points you want to try to emphasize is defense. Defense is very critical. And by that, what I mean is you want to try to have two or more territories on each continent. That would be your first priority. And your second priority is to try to fortify those territories. Now, we don't get a lot of reinforcements when we are second to move, so what we want to do is we want to try to place two armies on each territory when possible. Now, one of the reasons we do that is we want to limit the number of territories our opponent holds and maximize the number of territories that we hold, because the more territories we have, the more reinforcements we get. Now, if we look at these dice probability charts here, you'll notice the lowest probability of winning for an attacker with 4 or more armies, which 3 would play, is when an attacker has 3 dice and we have 2 dice defending. And the reason we're putting 2 armies on each territory, or as many territories as we can when we're moving second, is we want to minimize our opponent's odds of taking away our territories and occupying continents, because that presents problems when it becomes our turn. Now, of course, when we switch gears and go on into attack mode, what we want to do is we want to attack any chains our opponent leaves where they have 1 die defending. If you'll notice in the bottom right hand corner, our best odds are when we have 4 armies against 1 die defending. So we want to try to play the percentages when we go on attack, and that'll increase the number of territories we hold and decrease the number of territories our opponent holds, and hopefully we can win a war of attrition there. Now, when we're second to move, continents are important, but they're more important in terms of preventing our opponent from occupying them, and that's one of the reasons why we place 2 armies on each territory, making each continent more difficult or costly to conquer. And if our opponent fails to do that, they'll have a lot less reinforcements, and we get more reinforcements on our next turn, which is good for us. Cards are kind of important when you're second to move, and what we want to do with cards is we want to turn them in as early as possible. Unlike multiplayer games where it may be advantageous to hold them, when you're playing 2 players, it's either you or your opponent that gets the cards to hand in, and we want to try to use those to our advantage. Now, when you're selecting territories, what you want to try to do is you want to spread your armies out in groups that are connected to each other but not connected to the other groups. And the reason why you want to do that is you want to make it more difficult for your opponent to attack multiple army chains. In other words, you want to put a buffer zone in between your territories, and that way it makes it more difficult for your opponent to conquer large amounts of territory for you. Another item that is very critical when being second to move in a 2-player game is to minimize your opponent's reinforcements for their next turn. What I mean by this, for example, is, okay, we have this map right here. What we want to do is we want to, if we have these 9 armies here, we want to attack possibly 2 different ways. One way is we could attack these 4 armies right here, these 4 chains of 1, where our probability is the highest, and try to occupy as far as we can go that way. Another option is if our opponent has a lot of 1 chains on the left side, we could attack in that direction. And the final third option is to attack in this direction. But you want to spread out your armies like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 armies, and then attack the 1 chains, because our probability of winning is the highest when we have 4 armies against 1, or 3 attacking dice against 1 die. We're going to win 2 out of 3 times, and we want to try to maximize our chances and play those percentages as often as possible. And that essentially wraps up our tutorial. Thank you for watching.